Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 19 of UnCoMfY CoNvOs. This is your boy Shiv, your guy, your dude, whatever you want to call me. And today we are going to talk about food anxiety. Food's around the house. Food is everywhere. In the restaurant, it's outside of the house too. And if it's good, you want it. And sometimes you want to eat a lot of it. And that's happening to me a lot right now. And to speak about this anxiety, we have an all-time great comedian. All-time great. He gave me my start in comedy in Rhode Island. He's been performing for about 30 years. He's the founder of the Comedy Factory, which provides opportunities for new comedians to perform, get better. Founded in 1993. He's open for Bill Burr. Bet you've heard of him. Bill, he was inducted into the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame in 2012. So Hall of Famer, all-time great. He is a cancer survivor, which is also amazing, just to add to the resume. So he's also known as the Italian Don Rickles. That funny. So without further introduction, thank you so much for being on, John Perrotta.
Siv, how you doing, buddy? It's great to be on.
Good. Thank you for being on. I'm excited to have you. I just wanted to start off. I know in your comedy set, it's different than most. It's unique. You get rolling, you get in front of that audience and you start engaging with them right away. You'll pick on people in the audience. You'll comment on their appearance. You'll compare them to something. In one of your sets, I remember you called one of my friends. He had glasses on. You're like, you look like Harry Potter in the 20th sequel.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I find very impressive about that is like the confidence. And I know coming up in the stand-up scene, it's like you build up a lot of material. I'm wondering where you got the confidence to do crowd work. Did you practice that a lot at the beginning?
Well, early on, I did a little bit of crowd work, and it wasn't too long where I noticed the crowd work was getting bigger laughs than my material.
Yeah.
I knew there was something there, but I had to figure out, well, how do I do more crowd work? And it took me years to build up where I could really do 30, 45 minutes of crowd work. No problem. I've done shows where I headlined and did all crowd work for like 45 minutes. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, just if I had a big crowd and go through everybody and, I do material too, but the crowd work is what I love.
Yeah.
Working the audience,
Yeah, it's very unique. I've seen you like even like videos, whatever. It's like you're walking through, and I've seen it live too, but you're walking through like the aisles, if it's like big room, there's a bunch of tables, you're walking around, you're hitting everybody. It's
Yeah.
just I never see in the mic scene or anyone coming up, it's like you don't see that. So it's so cool that like I feel like you developed in that way.
Yeah, it took me, like I said, it took me years, you know what I mean? But before I built up the confidence and got good enough where I could, and you know what I did when I first started out, there was a guy around Rhode Island. He had a company, booking agency, Brian Deary, and he used to book there were a lot of bachelor parties back in the 90s in Rhode Island. And he said, I got a bachelor party for you. And another, and they would send us to a bachelor party.
Yeah.
And sometimes they were rowdy. There'd be 50, 7,500 guys, and they didn't want to hear any material. But when I started busting them up and busting their uncle and busting the bachelor, they would die laughing. And then if I tell a joke, they'd be looking at me. So they didn't want jokes. I had to learn. That's where I really learned my crowd work, was the bachelor parties.
Yeah. Did that come naturally to you, like growing up? Like, were you like always like, maybe in the schoolyard or whatever, you were quick?
Yeah, I was always quick, and always made, I had people telling me, oh, you should do comedy. And one bachelor party I did, the craziest thing probably ever happened to my doing comedy. There was this gigantic biker. I weighed 250 and he was bigger than me.
Yeah.
Big guy. And he was kidding around, but I didn't know. He come over and I'm on with the mic. He picked me up and he had me in the air. We were at a place called the Edgewood Yacht Club, and there was a window and there was water out there. He went over to the window. He was ready to throw me out the window. And I got the mic, and I'm saying to myself, I can't swim. I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I'm going to die doing a bachelor party. And then he put me down, and he was like laughing, and all the guys were laughing. And the joke was on me, but That was the scariest thing that ever happened. And it's funny because I worked at a prison for 36 years. I retired from there. And people say you worked at prison, dangerous, and which of course I was. But the craziest thing that ever happened to me was in comedy when this guy picked me up.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I'm not a small guy, you know what I mean? And he had me there like a toothpick.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's like at those what is it, the bar mitzvahs, like when they what are those parties where they pick you up on the chair and they hoist you up?
Yeah, that's I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of parties, they did a lot of crazy things.
Yeah. Now was that person like, was the biker guy angry or was he just
And then he was laughing, and I ran into the guy probably 4 or 5 times through the years. I never forgot him. He's a big guy, he's still around. He lives near me somewhere. I run into him. I say, "How you doing, buddy?" And he laughs. And I don't want nothing to do with him. You know what I mean? That's one guy I don't want to tangle with.
Well, that's an interesting point, because if you see someone in the audience and you're like, that person could be a physical threat to me.
Yeah, I've never, I used to, when I first started doing crowd work here and there, I had people, you get a little upset. But as time went on, I knew where not to cross the line. So I could pick on somebody, and I was fast enough where I'd pick on one guy over here, and then I'd be at another guy over there, then I'd be at a lady over here. So I was going around the room so fast. And if one guy really liked it, was laughing about it, whatever I picked on him about, I'd go back to him. And if it worked, times during my set, I would go back to that guy with callbacks or different things, and it would work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just worked for me.
Yeah. That's a really
crowd work isn't for everybody. You know what I mean? It's not for everybody, but it worked for me.
Yeah. That's a smart strategy. Like if it doesn't work with one person, you just so quick. And I noticed that you like go so fast.
Yeah. If you see somebody getting upset, then okay, I'm getting away from them, and don't go back to them. But it doesn't happen. It didn't happen to me much.
Yeah.
The last 10, 12 years, it didn't happen to me hardly at all,
Yeah.
Some clubs book me no problem. They'll book me the headline, and other clubs, because I do crowd work, they won't book me. It doesn't matter how funny you are. Like, I consider myself really good at the crowd work and a funny comedian, but you know what? That doesn't matter today. You know what I mean? If a club owner doesn't want crowd work, then they're not going to book you if that's what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes that would bother me, but I kind of let go of it now. What are you going to do? I mean, I book a lot of my own stuff, so I book myself a lot, and there's other clubs that book me. And if they don't want to book me because of the crowd work, I kind of like get a little upset about it, but there's not much I can do, That's my thing. That's what I do,
Yeah. And I'd say even that's like, positive in a way, that for like the fundraisers for the different shows that you do, like a lot of the people who come to the shows, I feel like they want to be engaged. So if you're like going with pre-written stuff, like for 30 minutes or an hour, it's like, they're not going to have as good a time as if you like, in a lot of those kind of gigs, I feel like it's like there's families there. It's more intimate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they like love it when you pick on someone, a family member or something.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is I'm not a good writer.
Yeah.
On stage, and sometimes I'll say something to a guy and it gets a good laugh, and it's a new bit.
Yeah.
So really right from the stage. It's kind of crazy. I sit down with a blank piece of paper, and I could sit there 10 days.
Yeah.
Not write a joke. Some guys are great at writing jokes. I can't write. I'm not a good joke writer, but if you put me in front of a crowd, almost every time I come up with new bits, and then I remember them. Wow, that worked, and I use it.
Yeah.
And so it's weird. I write from the stage. I don't know many people that do that, but
yeah. Yeah, I'd say similar. I think it's hard for me to write, and then the pressure in the moment of having to be funny when you're in front of people creates something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever record your sets?
When I started out, for a long time, I recorded my sets. I used to they had the VCR tapes back then. I used to have a recorder, and I used to record every set just about. And then I had the audio recorders, and I used to listen back. And I went in my garage the other day. I had a giant plastic bag of old cassette tapes.
Oh, wow.
Looked at one. It was from 1994. Wow. Someday I gotta go out bring that in, and I got a cassette player. I gotta listen to some of my old probably horrible from 1994. A long time ago. I was just starting out, so probably not that good, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And then, so throughout your about 30-year run, would you say you've just been consistent, like most nights? Like it's been.
Well, I'd say I was on and off for a while, but what happened, I started in 83 and I got up one time, I did really well. And then I got up twice and I bombed.
Yeah.
I said, that's it. I'm not doing this. And
Yeah.
years went by. And then we won tickets to a show at the Comedy Connection in East Providence. And I went there. There was a Boston comedian, Jonathan Katz, on. He was really funny. And I'm saying to myself, I got to try this again. And I took a stand-up comedy class, and I got stage, and I did really well the first time. And then the second show, I went to this place called the Bond View in Narragansett, Rhode Island. It was packed. It was the night before a holiday. They booked me to host a show, MC, 10 minutes. I got up. I did the same stuff I did the first time up. People were just looking at me. You could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
And so now I'm in a crossroads. I mean, here we go again. I did really well. Then I bombed again. But I decided, you know what? You got to stick with it. I read some books, and you're going to be up and down. And I was up and down for a while. And then the last, I don't know how many years I'd say, I got really consistent, probably the last, 15, 20 years. The first 10 years were a lot of ups and downs,
Yeah.
Stuck with it. I had some great sets, and I had some, up and down, a lot of ups and downs. But that's what comedy is. You got to fail to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I found. You have to be able to drive home that night. You didn't have that great of a set and say, well, I'll get them tomorrow. And that's got to be. And you can't let it beat you up and get you down. You got to get up off the mat and come back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest advice I could give to anybody, no matter how. Don't give up. You could have 10 bad sets in a row. If you love comedy, don't give up.
Yeah.
Stick with it. And eventually you'll find you'll get more consistent,
Yeah. In comedy and in life.
Yeah. Either that or you'll get out. I mean, you can't, some people just don't, after so long, if they're just not clicking for them, at some point you make a decision where you got to get out. Well, I was lucky for me that I improved over time, and that's a lot of people do,
Yeah.
Hopefully improve, the more you do it,
Yeah. After taking like those mental notes of what didn't work.
Yeah.
I know it's specifically in your set, like when you do crowd work. I was looking at a video earlier today, and this was one of my first shows with you. And it was actually, you put me on at like the Comedy Connection. And one of my best friends was in the audience. And you started picking on him. And you were like, oh, like, what do you say? His name's Andrew. He's gonna hate me because I'm saying his name right now. But his name's Andrew, and he was like, you're like Andrew, like if you, what do you say? Like we go into a van tonight, and then you're like, and then you're like, and then he's like, and then you said to him, you were like, oh, like, did you ever expect before you came to this comedy show, like you'd end up tomorrow morning with a 300-pound comedian on top of you?
Yeah. I came up with that bit one night at a show and it worked, and I kind of stuck with it. It works, I usually pick a guy out in the audience and I got a bit that I do, and it's a 2-3 minute bit, and then I go back to the guy a few times and it works good. Works good for me. It's nothing offensive or nothing, It's just, it's a fun thing,
It is fun. Yeah. And I love how you lean into it so much. You're like, oh, like, and you'll hardly be able to breathe, and you make it so extreme.
It would be extreme if I did it.
Yeah. And I watched it intensely today, and you were like, you're saying, you went back to him like you usually do, and you're like, I don't care, Andrew, like I'll eat you, like just as a whole. Like,
Crazy.
And I just it's so funny. And then you're like, and then you and then you'll say, and then you'll reference like food things too and stuff. You'll be like, you lean into it a lot.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You look like you eat meatballs in the dark. That's another one.
That's the one where I came up one night. I looked at a guy and I looked at his beard. I said, "You look half Amish and half Italian." I said, "What are you going to eat? Meatballs in the dark?" And I got a laugh. got a big laugh, so I kept that. That's one I wrote from the stage. Off the top of my head, it came out.
Yeah.
It worked, and I stuck with it, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome. And then yeah, there's so many like that. And you're like you said one of your fetishes is eating like a chicken parm off of someone's neck, I think.
Yeah. I tell the guy, I say, I got a food fetish. I said, I could eat chicken palm off your neck. That's crazy, right? I got a lot of food references.
Yeah.
Look at another guy. I say, you should have some big guy. You're a big guy. You should have food tattoos.
Yeah.
Those links around your neck, maybe an eggplant in your ankle or a pizza box on your ass. You know
Yeah.
I got a lot of crazy food references.
Yeah. Did you start out making a lot of food references, or what inspired you to go?
Well, even the cancer. I'll get up and say, I've been blessed. I beat kidney cancer, you know,
Yeah.
and everybody will clap and say, yeah, I have to go for MRIs every 4 months. I went last Tuesday, no cancer, but they found 60 Twinkies merged together. And then that gets me going. That gets a laugh. And then I probably got more food references than I realize.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you start out like testing that material, or did it just develop as you got older? Like, were you like, oh, they find this funny, I'm going to lean into it?
Yeah, I just developed it.
Yeah.
I saw what worked and what didn't. Something works, I remember it, and I got a good memory. You know, I don't even write stuff down. I just got a good memory. But with this pandemic going on, if it takes a year and a half, at the stage, I mean, hopefully I'll remember my act. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I crowd a lot, but there's some set stuff I have, and hopefully it'll all come back to me. You know, all of it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how and it's so well. I love how it's kind of self-aware too in a way. You're like, all right, people may perceive me as like a bigger guy. You're like, you know that'll play to your the way you may be perceived by the audience.
Yeah.
And like even like being like a shorter brown guy, it's like, you know, I'll make jokes about, you know, whatever it is based on the appearance.
Yeah.
Were
You can get away with it if you joke about yourself. Like, I'm a big guy, so I'll point that out, and then I'll look at another big guy in the crowd, and then I'll say something to him, and it gets laughs, and he's good with it because I already said, hey, I'm a big guy, you're a big guy, we both like to eat, and, you know, then I keep it gives me a license to kind of pick on the guy, you know what I mean? And and they laugh, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they laugh.
Yeah. Were you always honest with being like sharing that or being that vulnerable, like in terms of like, oh, like this is what I do? Like for me, like even like opening up on stage took a while, like being comfortable with like picking on people or even like showing some of my insecurities like took a while.
Yeah. I was always I always picked on myself, and I had no problem with that. My size, my whatever, you know. I was actually bigger than I am. I lost weight. I lost weight, but I was bigger than. At one point, I was really big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you talk about the in that regard? You talk about like the protein shakes.
Yeah, I went on the Miriam Hospital in Rhode Island as this OptiFast that Oprah Winfrey used to be on. So I went on that years ago and lost 60, gained it back. Then I went on it again. I was doing really well before the pandemic. I had lost 64 pounds.
Wow.
Doing awesome. And I was really zoned into the diet. I'd go to my shows. They'd have buffets. I wouldn't eat. And then all of a sudden the pandemic hit and was stuck in the house. I'd go shopping. I started buying. And I started thinking, oh, it's going to be stuck in the house. Who knows what's going to happen? So I was buying all kind of food, stocking up.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I'm eating, I'm gaining weight. And I gained about 18, 20 pounds, which I'm trying to have shakes. I went and bought a couple of cases the other day.
Yeah.
I'm mixing the shakes with the food and hopefully level off, and I can hopefully stay at about 45, 50 pounds, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to gain the whole 64 pounds back. It was odd, you know?
Yeah. What are in those shakes?
It's the print is small and there's all kind of stuff it says. All I know is it's a protein shake.
Yeah.
And they fill you up a little. I had, when I was zoned in, I was having like 5, 6, 7 a day. I mean, but that's all I was having. I was having the shakes, and they have protein bars. So between, you could have like 7 a day of shakes and protein bars. So that's what I was having.
Wow.
Always that protein bars and shakes. That's all I know.
Yeah. So you're getting your nutrition in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I felt great. I felt great. I lost a lot. I was looking really good, and I'm kind of upset that I gained. Everybody's gaining weight during this thing.
Everybody is. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? They tell you to stay home. Don't leave the house.
Yeah.
You're in the house. You're watching TV. You're gonna eat,
Yeah.
and then that's the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching an old Super Bowl like a few weeks ago, and I was just, there was some ice cream in the freezer, and I didn't eat like back in New York or when I was like doing, going out a lot. I didn't like do it as much, but I like grabbed a whole pint and I was like, all right, I'm gonna have a little bit, and like I had like, maybe a quarter of like the pint.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, like this is pretty good. It was great. It had like chocolate chunks in it, like chocolate covered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like solid chocolate covered with vanilla ice cream in the middle, and then it had like chocolate chunks, like hard chocolate chunks in the middle,
Jesus.
like milk
Some of
chocolate.
that.
Yeah, and it was so good. And I'd never had it in my life before, but it was in our fridge, like back at home in Rhode Island. And I was like, oh, like I'm gonna, I had a quarter of it, maybe the pint, and then I was like, that was too good. So I'm like, all right, I'll have half. That's all I'll have. I'm just gonna have half of the ice cream. That's it.
Yeah.
And then I had half, and I'm like, it's just a pint. It's just a pint of ice cream. I mean, what is?
It's not gonna hurt.
Yeah. I mean, how often do I do this?
Yeah.
And then I had the pint, and then the next night I was watching a football game again. An old Super Bowl recording, and the Patriots, and then I was like, and then I had another half of the pint, and I'm like, all right, I see what's happening here.
You're gonna eat it all.
I used to, like, even when I was little, like in fourth grade, if my parents weren't home, like ice cream was my biggest, that was the biggest fix for me. Like I would have a tub of ice cream, not even a pint, like a full blown half gallon or something.
Yeah.
My parents weren't home, and I was pretty small. I was a small kid, but if my parents weren't home, I'm like, oh, this is the time, because they limit you when you're home. But when they weren't home, like I'd tackle the whole, like one time I think I had the whole half gallon.
Wow.
And yeah.
The whole half gallon. Jesus. That's crazy.
Right now, more than ever, I think that's happening. I think like in the quarantine, it's like, dude, that's a really big point. Because what you mentioned too is like, you didn't know how long this thing's going to last. Obviously, it's still lasting, but it's like, all right, let's pile up on groceries. Let's pile up on food in the house. And when you're in a space, this is a big problem for me. Like when you're in a space surrounded by food all day, like you're just going to eat the food.
If you can't go, you can go very few places to do an errand or something, and you're in the house. And I go to the market, so now I'm buying all kind of stuff that I wasn't buying before.
Yeah.
I'm buying potato chips, dip, stuff like Twinkies.
Yeah.
All kind of stuff that is not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I eat it little by little. I eat it all.
Yeah. That's the tricky part with it. Like we have cookies in here, and it's like you have it that little bit, and then you eat. Like I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna eat the whole cookie, and then I eat the whole. It's just it's a slippery slope.
The golden Oreos.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, I like those. And the other day I went to the pharmacy, and they happen to have, like a rack of them for sale, $1. So I got 2 of them. I figured, well, I'll stash them so my wife doesn't need it. And I had them downstairs, and I ate one, and then I ate the other. I ate them all in one day.
Yeah.
I kept saying, I'll have one more. There were 2 boxes of like sleeves of cookies. I ate them all. Like in 3 hours, 3 hours, I ate them all. Yeah, it's nuts. They should have lasted like a few days. Gone.
Well, that's the initial thought, right? It's like even when we got that ice cream back at home, it's like, oh, this will last, for a month.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it lasts 2 days, and you're like, ah, damn it. It's too good to be true in the closet.
Yeah.
I definitely I have a lot of that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I eat. It's definitely tough now. I mean, it's hard. It's easier when someone's like cooking Me meals. I think a big part of it though is like a lot of the pre-made stuff is tastes really good, and the effort required to like cook healthy meals is a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like making like a quinoa bowl.
Oh yeah. It's hard to do that. Yeah.
Only like the shakes. The shakes are kind of easy to make, which is I can get on board with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think the hardest for me, like the hardest time of the day with food is like at night. It's like it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's like even in the comedy scene or whatever. Even if you're out a lot at night, it's like I'm gonna eat.
I I am a night eater. That was my problem. That's how I got big because after the shows, I had different places I would go, food trucks, and different places in Rhode Island I would go to, and show would go over, and I'd say, "Oh, I like to get this, I like to get that," and I'd go. There's one truck, chili and hot dogs, and I buy like two hot dogs, chili, French fries. It's like midnight. It's like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
It's all this nonsense, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Crazy. That's what I did though.
yeah,
A lot of times my problem was I would eat at home, have supper. 2
yeah,
hours later, I'm out at a show, there's a buffet, and they'd say, help yourself. And I wasn't really that hungry, but like free food. So now I go up with a plate, get pasta, get whatever, meatballs, and I'd have a plate there. And
yeah,
the time the show got over, now I'm thinking hot dogs, chili. So I was eating 3 times a night.
yeah,
I was like at one point 355 pounds.
yeah,
Huge.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It was crazy.
yeah.
I could eat. I could eat.
Yeah, that's so tempting though. The buffets, like I don't have that when I go out, like at least right now for shows and stuff. But
Yeah.
the buffet, because we were even at one of the shows that we were at, like there was a buffet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like yeah, free food. It's like, wow, how are we not going to take advantage of this?
That's what I'm saying. I did a lot of parties and show, and there was always, if they had a buffet, a lot of times they would say to the comedians, you want to eat, and very seldom would I say no.
Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't even like starving or anything. I just had to eat. It's for free. I'll take it.
yeah. Who would say no?
I know, right?
Especially if it's good.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah. Nighttime is when it comes alive. You know. Like I've gone up to like the fridge late at night. I was remember when I lived alone, like I went up to the fridge late at night and opened like the freezer, looked at the ice cream, and I was like, "You're not my master." You know, like I was like, I was being controlled by the ice cream. It was horrible.
Oh yeah. See, crazy. I came up with the idea. Well, in the early '90s, when I started, I came up with the idea. I did a show at this place. It was an all-you-can-eat chicken dinner place. They would have chicken, pasta, salad, and bread. It was $8.
Mhm.
Eat. They just keep bringing it. So I did a party there, and came up with the idea. I talked to the manager. How about we do a show? We'll call it All You Can Eat, All You Can Laugh Dinner Comedy Show.
Ooh, I like that. That's good.
We did it for a couple of years. Then the owner got tax evasion, went up in jail, and it closed.
Got it.
We used to get 300 people. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Then eventually, I had a couple of restaurants when the pandemic hit. I was doing Spirito's restaurant in Cranston, Rhode Island, and Lemongrass Asian restaurant in Warwick.
Hmm.
The same thing, all you can eat, all you can laugh dinner comedy shows. And we sold every one of them out. Almost every one. People, 40 bucks, they'd go, they'd have all you can eat dinner and a good show. It was awesome. It was awesome. But my mind was always based on food, thinking people would like to come and have a dinner and then see a show. And it was a good hit.
Yeah.
Went well,
Yeah, that's really smart. I think it is just all you can eat, not all you can drink.
No, they could drink all they want, but they have to pay for that. But it was all you could laugh dinner comedy show. Usually about 40 bucks, give or take. Sometimes 50, sometimes 30, 35. It depended, But they would put out a buffet, like the Lemongrass Asian Bistro would put out a buffet,
Yeah.
all kind of stuff, and people would just load up their plates. I swear to God, they load up their plates
Yeah.
high, and then they'd go back up 2 more times. They would
Yeah.
eat literally 3 plates of enough food for a week. These
Wow.
they were getting free food, in their mind, extra food, and they would take advantage of it. They would eat it.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
It's weird, the psychology behind that. If you think about it, though, like, all right, I have a buffet. All right, we have an all-you-can-eat opportunity here, and then you eat it all. I mean, it's gonna go. You're gonna, it's gonna go into the toilet. The next morning. Everything you ate. It's not like more is not gonna get absorbed. You know what I mean?
I know, right?
But that's the logic. I think a lot of the times it's like, all right, well, this is a buffet. I'm going to take advantage of this. Meanwhile, you're
Yeah.
still going to be hungry by breakfast tomorrow,
Yeah. My thinking was the buffet would hopefully get them in, and then we put good comedians in, and that's what happened. And the comedy, I have good headliners, and people started coming back more and more. I literally had people texting me, John, you have a show, the all you can eat buffet March 3rd.
Yeah.
Tickets, and they were literally texting me for tickets.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable. It was a big hit. I did lemongrass and all you can eat buffet. 7 years we were there until the pandemic.
Yeah.
And went fantastic. It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it comes back, but I don't know. Who knows with the the pandemic, the buffets. I mean, that might be a thing of the past for a while.
Yeah. I
Unfortunately.
mean, you could brand like a virtual show, like an all you can eat, all you can laugh, bring your own food.
Bring your own food, yeah.
And getting people to pay for Zoom comedy is a whole nother marketing thing.
Yeah, there's guys, a few guys I know doing the Zoom comedy, but for me, see, my type of act you've seen with the crowd work.
It's harder, yeah.
I mean, I could do some material, but
You could.
I told a friend of mine, if you got in a pinch, get some kind of benefits, I could do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but
Yeah.
I couldn't do 45 minutes on Zoom. You know what I mean? Because I work the crowd. I need an audience. Some comics can do Zoom and do fine, but for me, I need that audience.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned that, because I've been on some shows recently of like with some more experienced comics, and they I've seen one or two like so far be able to do the crowd work kind of successfully. Like they'll look
Really?
at everyone's mini screens.
Yeah.
And in a way it's almost funnier because like the way people are set up at home is hilarious. Like some people are doing dishes, like if it's a bigger show, you get 40,
Yeah.
50 people on the call.
Yeah.
And someone's maybe like touching their face, like people don't care as what I mean, like it's because you're at home, like you're not paying attention as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think in a way that I think there could be opportunity to pick on people even more because they might just be too comfortable.
I know, right? Crazy. I haven't tried it. Who knows? Maybe someday I will. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think in the buffet situation you're making like the comedy or the venues are making more food off of the food or the drinks?
I think they make more off the drinks.
Right.
Yeah, I would say they make more off the drinks.
Yeah. Would comedy exist if drinking didn't exist?
Yeah. That's people go out. They want to. Most people like. I quit drinking. I used to drink a lot, but people go out. They want to have a drink. Want to see a show. They want to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it's all entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I wonder if like a non-alcoholic comedy show would even work.
I did a few conventions for Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, and everybody was sober. And I went in and it went well. They laughed and they weren't drinking. They were fine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it can work, but if you have a restaurant where you say it's gonna be no alcohol, that wouldn't work. It has to be billed that have a place you bill it as non-alcohol, and it doesn't have a bar. You got to bring your own water or soda or whatever. Because if you do it with a bar, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So many people are gonna want to drink.
Right. In New York, it's very like that.
Yeah.
But no, the buffet sounds amazing. I know that growing up in an Indian household, I my mom, or like just the culture of it is like it's a buffet, it's a buffet type environment. It's like it's all you can eat, and your grandma, like my grandma or like my mom, they force you. They're like, no, you have to have five more. You know, I'm
Yeah,
wondering if culturally or like if any in your because Perrotta I think is Italian, right?
yeah. My mother was, believe it or not, my mother was Irish and Polish. My father was Italian, but the Italian took me over. Obviously,
Yeah,
I'm Italian, but I'm also Irish and Polish. But I grew up. My grandmother would cook the big Italian meals every Sunday. We'd have a big Italian meal,
yeah,
macaroni, meatballs, chicken, this and that, sausage and peppers, all kind of stuff. So I got used to, like, I was thin, but it was like eat, 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 and I kept eating, and all of a sudden I wasn't thin anymore. Somewhere along the way, I crossed the line,
yeah,
and I went from skinny to big.
yeah,
I don't know how it happened. If you saw pictures of me when I was younger, it's crazy how thin I was.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like when you're younger, I feel like there's the metabolism could be faster. I mean, did you experience? I don't know. I'm 24. I could things could start. Maybe how I'm doing it right now is not right. It's just like maybe because I'm in my 20s, it's not piling on.
Yeah, yeah. When you start getting in your mid-30s, all of a sudden that's when it happens.
Got it. Got it.
Some people, I mean, some people got a good fast metabolism, and I've seen people that are older that are thin. They eat, 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 and they don't gain weight.
Yeah.
I mean, me, I gain weight.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. It's weird because in especially in the Indian culture, I mean, like our genes are like skinny, skinny brown, like just skinny Indian. Like it's hard to find a bigger Indian. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's not too many big
Yeah.
Indians. You don't see too many. How come? How come, man?
And it's so hard to become a big Indian. Like it's so like I will like my mom or anyone they'll feed you so much and like they think that I'm not eating enough, but it's like I'll eat as much as maybe someone else in my family who's a lot bigger than me, and like we'll have the same portion meal, and it's like it's not my fault.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's just you gotta Indians have to I don't know how to do it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I used to like back in the day, like yeah, big Red Sox fan, so Big Poppy. I don't know if you,
Oh yeah, I love Big Poppy.
yeah, I used to eat tubs of ice cream, and I would tell my best friend, I'd be like, oh, like I'm doing this because I want to be able to like hit baseballs like Big Poppy.
Yeah, yeah. Crazy.
Yeah,
He was the
um,
man. He was the man, Big Poppy. I loved him.
yeah,
Yeah.
he must have had a lot. He's gotta have had a lot of buffets.
Oh yeah.
He was, that's an interesting thing to me, like the diet of athletes of like football players, like what are they eating?
So I'm sure some eat right and some don't. I mean, the Red Sox had a player a few years ago. He played third base. They got him from San Francisco. Trying to think of what his name was, but he came to spring training and he gained a ton of weight. And they had him for like 3 or 4 or 5 years, and it didn't work out. He couldn't move. He couldn't catch the balls. He was making errors.
Yeah.
A lot of weight. Yeah, the panda they called him, the big panda, something like. You know what I mean?
I don't I don't
Panda.
I don't know the panda. I don't
I think they called him the Panda. He was from San Francisco Giants, and he came to us as a free agent. He was like supposed to be a big clutch hitter in the playoffs, and
yeah.
for us, it was like he was eating hot dogs all winter. He just came to us, and he blew up, and he was awful.
Oh man. I can't believe they
So,
called him the panda. That's horrible.
I think it was the Big Panda. I think that was his nickname. Yeah,
I find it funny because like if because he probably didn't perform well, but if Big Poppy was like called Big Panda, but he was like that was his nickname and he was a clutch hitter, like it'd be a positive thing.
yeah, yeah,
Like Big Panda's coming up to the plate.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't Panda. That's like they.
I think it was. I think he was called the Big Panda. He was from San Fran. He played third base. I usually got a good memory. I can't. I can't remember his name offhand. He was awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Bad pick. Bad
Oof.
choice.
Big time. Big
But
time.
Pedroia, he was like one of the smallest guys in the league.
He was a great player, but then he got injured, and that Manny Machado slid into him at second base, where it spiked him, and he's had problems ever since. I think his knee. I think he's had a lot of problems, and he probably won't come back.
Yeah.
Great player back in the day. He was a most valuable player one year.
Yeah.
Pedroia. He had some good years.
Oh yeah. And I found it so impressive because he did it as like a 5 foot set, like around my height, like probably 5'7" or whatever it was.
Yeah. He was really good. Great defensive player. I loved him. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. I wonder what the baseball players ate in the dugout. Do you remember seeing them like chew like
I remember seeing him spitting out a lot of pistachio nuts or
yeah.
whatever, pistachios.
Yeah, a lot of pistachios. Do you see like the brown liquid coming out of their mouth?
There's some of them are chewing tobacco.
A lot of them.
Yeah, they chew tobacco. It's crazy. I could never chew tobacco.
Yeah. It was like the thing to do. Like every single player I saw, like if it Terry Francona, like, spit out tobacco, like they cut to him. And then like Manny Ramirez is at the plate. He spit out like two squirts of tobacco.
It's crazy.
And then it cuts to like Pedroia. Now he's spitting tobacco. He didn't like in the first year. And we're like, I was so confused. I'm like, what the heck's happening?
I know, right? Guys are crazy. I never did tobacco. That's not for me.
Yeah.
I like to chew Italian food, not tobacco.
Yeah. Like, does nobody care about their teeth in the MLB,
Yeah. I'm sure I must do a job on them.
Yeah. That concerned me a lot for them. It was that tobacco bubble gum, but I think I think in Little League it was bubble gum, and then I think once you got to the major leagues they switched it out with tobacco.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the new norm.
Yeah.
But the diets of football players are probably like very, very intense.
Oh yeah.
That's okay. I figured it out. That's why Indians aren't big, because Indians have to eat. They can't eat beef, most of them, because it's sacrilegious.
Yeah.
And beef gets you bigger.
Yeah. That's what it is. I guess that's what it is. I don't know.
I'm not a food professional, so I'm not gonna. Anyone listening, don't follow that advice. You can get big without beef, I'm sure.
Probably.
Did you have because you were like in an Italian household, did you have a lot more meat, like kind of growing up?
Oh yeah. My mother made a lot of we had everything. Tons of burgers, meatloaf, roast, pot roast, veal parm, all kind of different meats and stuff.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That's night and day.
A lot of sausage.
Yeah.
A lot of meat. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's night and day from what we got. Just like we'd have. Have you ever had Indian food?
Yeah.
Are you a fan?
No.
How dare you?
I tried it, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. I'm too big on Italian food. That's my problem.
Yeah.
Go to a restaurant. Some people order different things all the time.
Yeah.
I get the set things I order. Once in a while, I'll get a steak or prime rib. It's usually veal palm, chicken palm. They got a platter with meatballs, sausage, peppers, French fries. Those are the kind of things I get. The same things.
Yeah.
The same things. I don't go, well, let's go to this new Indian restaurant or this. Nah, I don't. I stick to the same stuff.
Yeah.
Just the way I am. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I can relate. I mean, I totally like the foods that I like right now are the ones that I'm gonna seek out.
Yeah.
I think, although I do, I'm gonna pitch to you Indian food a little bit harder. I don't know if anyone's ever done that to you. I think chicken tikka masala have you ever had chicken tikka masala?
No.
It's really good.
Is it good? Next time you come to Rhode Island, we'll go to an Indian restaurant and we'll try it. We'll try it. You have me. I'll have a dish.
Yeah, sounds good. I got it. I'm telling you, it's really it's up. It's probably my favorite food ever. So I think you might like it.
We'll go there. We'll get that. And the next day we'll get Italian food.
Yeah, I'll break my no cow policy for a night and
For a
have
night.
the meatballs.
Have the meatballs, right?
Just don't tell my parents. I might not be able to live in the house anymore.
Oh.
No, the diet, because you said like a lot in the Italian like culture, like a lot of it's more on the meat side, and even when you travel to different countries, like a lot of it's like a lot of meat, and um, in the like growing up in an Indian household, it's literally like there's this thing called roti, like rotli, and you have like it's like basically a very thin bread, and then like our meal, which I think this is a travesty. It's very unfortunate after being able to eat other, food like Italian food, whatever. It's the meal is like cooked vegetables.
Wow. Cooked vegetables. That's it.
That's it.
No meat.
And it's usually one. It's like because also like I mean I guess the way it was kind of back in India, technology wasn't as advanced. Like microwaves weren't really invented earlier, so it's like a lot of people were cooking like bread and like just cooking up vegetables outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but and it would always be like one vegetable. Like they're like one each meal is like it's just potatoes cooked
Yeah,
or
yeah,
chopped potatoes,
yeah.
or it's like cucumbers just cooked.
Just cooked. That's it.
It's like because it was funny because there was one point in my life where I was like, Mom, like if you could, if you just put like the raw vegetable, fine. You don't have to cook it. It's the same thing,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Like it's like putting a cucumber out on your plate, but it tastes good. And I'm gonna, if my mom's listening, it tastes good.
yeah.
I like the seasoning. Um, were there any like good vegetarian dishes in the Italian type?
Not
Like
too many.
not too many.
I've had some relatives that were vegetarians, but I've never been one. So I've never really paid attention to. I always had meat.
Yeah.
So I've been a meat eater my whole life.
How did you?
Probably not good, but
No, it's good. I mean, I think it's good. How did you perceive vegetarians? Were you like, what is that?
I mean, I look at it, if that's what you want, then that's for you, great.
Yeah.
Not for me, but if that's
Yeah.
what you want that Indian dish or you want vegetarian food, whatever you want, that's cool with me.
Yeah.
When I have my Italian food.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I'm not having the protein shakes.
Yeah. So you're not judging me for my choices.
Nah, of course not.
Awesome.
I do your own thing, man. I don't tell anybody what to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not my thing. I might look at it and say, well, that's not for me, but
Yeah.
more power to you. If you like it, go for it.
Yeah. It'd be very aggressive to force. You'd have to be very passionate about meat or vegetarianism to try and force it on.
Yeah, I'm not one like I mean, me, I don't understand if somebody doesn't like Italian food because I was brought up Italian. I think it's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
People that don't like Italian food, which to me, wow, you don't like Italian food. But then there's me, I don't like certain kind of foods either. So
Yeah.
way it goes.
What are your thoughts on Olive Garden?
Mm, I've been there. Yeah, there's Italian restaurants in Rhode Island that are way better than Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fair at best.
Yeah. I thought that was the best Italian
Really?
restaurant growing up. Yeah, but then again, I'm not too well versed.
Yeah. Well, we got some Italian restaurants, Federal Hill and Providence, where all the Italian restaurants are, and there's some really, really good. That's where when anybody came to Rhode Island, I would tell them go to Federal Hill section of Providence, and they have the best Italian restaurants. You can't beat it.
Wow.
Yeah. There's another place called Marchetti's. You order, they literally give you a dish, and so much that 3 people could eat the dish. It's so much Italian food in one dish.
Yeah.
I can't finish it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, you know.
We're plugging a lot of restaurants right now. I hope they go.
Yeah, I know we are. Yeah, I'm getting hungry too.
Yeah, same, same. My mouth started watering. I was thinking about bread. I was thinking about bread and butter.
Anything would be good right now. I'm getting hungry. Talking about food too much.
Yeah. I hope we get commissions from the restaurants. Maybe if we, if enough people listen to this episode,
Yeah,
get some money from the. We plugged you guys.
yeah. Get a cut.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's the tough. Have you been? I mean, we've been ordering out a little bit. Have you been ordering out right now? Like just getting.
Yeah, well, we probably a couple of times a week.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, call it in and curbside pickup. You go there and where these restaurants around here, you go there, they come out, ask you your name, they go back in, you pay by the credit card on the phone, they go back in, get your food and give it to you, and that's it.
Yeah,
That's the way things are now.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know how it is in New York, but in Rhode Island, now they're going to let the restaurants, you can't go inside the restaurant to eat, but they're going to allow tables outside of the restaurant where people can sit outside. I don't know how that's going to work. Some of the restaurants, there's not a lot of parking. I don't know where they're going to put tables, but that's what they're going to do.
yeah,
The governor said you can't eat inside the restaurant. You can eat outside.
yeah,
So it's kind of crazy. I mean, me personally, I'm not going. All I'm getting is takeout until they get this virus controlled. I'm not going to sit in a restaurant or I really don't want to catch this thing. You know what I mean?
yeah.
The virus. So.
Yeah, I think even like with those restrictions as they get lifted, or it's like, okay, you guys can go outside and eat now. Like we're like we don't want to go outside and eat next to people. Like it's like I think there's still some skepticism there.
Oh yeah. I go through a lot of hand sanitizer. Every time I do anything, I put it on. I go come home, wash my hands. Like I'm trying to stay on top of this thing. The last thing I want to do is get this thing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
with the are you getting groceries delivered?
We did a couple of times, and mainly I go get them, but it's probably easy to get them delivered. But then sometimes you don't really get what you want.
Yeah.
Of a different brand, or if you go to the store yourself, you know what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of like going myself, but I use a lot of hand sanitizer when I get in the car, and I try to stay on top of that, wear the mask, and try to be careful. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't take it serious, the virus. I take it serious.
Yeah.
I think you should. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And I think especially in places like Rhode Island or whatever, in New York, everyone knows it's huge, but it's in other states where maybe there's not as many cases right now.
Yeah,
Still important to like take it into account. I think food. It's weird. I think food is the scariest kind of thing to be getting because that's like the grocery stores. Like, and we get it delivered. It's like we have no idea who made it, who touched the package, and like that's the scariest thing to me. It's like even if we're fortunate enough and blessed enough to quarantine, it's like, well, if you're getting food, even from the grocery store, people are touching that.
oh yeah, it's scary. You don't know.
Yeah,
It's,
and you got to Lysol all of it.
yeah,
Have you do like Lysol the?
I should, but I don't.
Yeah.
Should. There's a lot of things I probably should do that I'm not doing, but so far I've been lucky. But scary, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The invisible enemy. We don't know where it is.
Yeah. But the mass in order to protect from it a little bit, the mass grocery deliveries are definitely happening.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's contributing to overeating.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
um I find it very impressive though. Like even for you, like you said, from the protein shake, diet, it was like you dropped 67, right?
64.
60. Oh, my bad. 64, and then that's very intense. Was there a moment that like sparked the change of like, oh, like I want to drop all of that
Well,
now?
my daughter was getting married last September,
Got it.
and the family was all on me to lose weight for the wedding. And then July came, and I said, I think it was June or July. I said it was July, and I said I gotta go on this thing and be serious. I went on it, and by the wedding I had lost 30, 35 pounds, which was good, you know.
Yeah.
Figured let me stick with it. And I want to lose on double. I was 64 pounds, and I was really headed to lose 100. I wanted to lose 100 pounds.
Wow.
I still do eventually, but I wanted to lose 100
Yeah.
pounds. And I forget what I started. I forget what I was when I started, but I know I wanted to lose 100 pounds. But then
Yeah.
the pandemic hit, and it's been haywire ever since.
Yeah. I would suggest just tell your daughter to have a wedding every year.
That's a good idea.
You'll drop the 100.
That's a good idea. We had the big Italian wedding, and then now this year, people that are planning weddings are having a hard time because they can't. The governor here, I know in Rhode Island, June and July, you can have a wedding, only 50 or less people.
Yeah.
We'll have weddings with 100, 200 people. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of people that cancel their weddings, reschedule them. It's pretty tough,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's really rough. Especially for the weddings. You can't do virtual weddings.
I think I've seen some people have.
No way.
Yeah, they get on and they get married and they get their friends are on the screen. Yeah, I've seen the clips of that. Yeah.
Oh no, that's that's so sad in a way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh man. I'm trying to picture that. Would I mean, is the priest still, or the the person who does the vows still there?
Yeah, I think I saw some clips. I think so. I think yeah, they were getting married and there were people all on the screen. It was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been done.
Yeah.
This is a new time right now, so there's a lot of stuff that's unusually being done that would never be done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
I mean, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. You're in love and you want to seal the knot right away. You don't wait. You do it on Zoom.
Yeah. Just do it.
Yeah. And that's a testament to a stronger love.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, right.
Because they're like, we're not going to wait until we can get a venue. We're going to wait. We're just going to do it right now. That's how much we love each other.
Yeah, yeah.
I initially thought that was, comedic and maybe not, not the best thing to do. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. I guess whatever floats your boat, whatever, you know.
Yeah. We're getting towards the end of the episode, but before we end it, I want to know, did play a game, kind of ask like a, fun question of, if you could have one last meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
One last meal. Oh boy, I'd probably be. If I could have one last meal, my mom passed away, but if I could have one last meal, it would probably be her lasagna.
Lasagna?
She made a killer lasagna. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
And I can still taste that lasagna today. And she passed away in 2003, 17 years ago. I can still taste her food. That's crazy, right? Mentally, I can still taste it.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's nuts. I could give you a dish she made, and I could literally still remember how it tasted. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And she was Irish, but she learned how to cook Italian. She was awesome.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Wow. That's very impressive. What would you say made it like so? Is it like a secret? Like nobody can ever replicate it?
I think she learned from my her mother-in-law. My grandmother was Italian. She learned from her, and it just came out the same. They both cooked really well, you know.
Yeah.
And I can still remember my grandmother's dishes too, you know.
Yeah.
Got a good. My taste buds remember, and my mind remembers. They made some good food.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's great that it's like, I think it's awesome that you have like, you can pinpoint particular dishes made within your house as like the meal you would want to have.
Yeah, yeah.
Because people usually, and again, I'm going to plug this, chicken tikka masala. I think it's great.
I'll try it sometime.
I'm vegetarian now, so I do paneer tikka, but if I had to, if it was going to end, I would go on a limb, break the vegetarianism. That's how much, John, I love, that's how good it is.
I gotta try it. I gotta try it.
it's like meat, but it has like curry. It's got a nice sauce on it, and it's like
Yeah,
but it's different than anything you'll ever have. We'll do it. We'll make it happen.
I'll definitely do it. Yeah,
Um, and then the last kind of game, I don't even know if I always say a game at the end, but sometimes not even a game. It's just like, what are you willing to eat? What are we willing to eat? And they're kind of weirder meats. So,
what
uh,
weird meat am I willing to eat?
yeah, what weird meats are you or me or are we willing to eat? Like, what would if they were put in front of us on the table, would we eat it?
I remember my mother used to make liver for my father, liver, and when she made that, the whole house smelled. That's one thing I would never try. I know that. You had liver and onions. My mother used to make my father, and I swear it was the most awful thing she ever made.
Yeah.
Would I try it? No. I'm trying to think of what else weird meat that I would try. Uh,
Were the onions a turn off or just the liver, the combination?
the smell of liver. Cook,
Uh,
cook some liver in your house someday
yeah, I won't.
and onions. Smell it.
Yeah.
It'll keep out a skunk. It's bad. It's bad.
Are you telling me you'd rather be skunk sprayed than have to smell liver?
If you gave me a choice of eating a liver or getting sprayed by the skunk, I'd go with the skunk.
Oh wow,
I would.
that's
I don't
I
want liver and onions. No way.
and your father. You said your father ate it.
Oh yeah, he ate it. He loved it. He loved it.
And would it? I mean, judging by the way you're saying it, this thing, traveled across the whole house.
Oh, when she made it, the whole house you could smell it. Oh,
Oh no.
yeah, when somebody makes something good that you like, it smells and you love it. But when they make something like liver and onions, it's awful, and it stays in the house for a while.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was sorry too. I was a little kid. I'm like, you're gonna be kidding me.
You're like I don't have a choice. You know.
Yeah.
Would she put it on? Would she put it on your? When you went to go eat, like, Would she
She
put it on?
wouldn't give it to me. I think they tried, and I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I think she give me spam. That's probably one weird. I don't know if that's a meat or what it is, but that's a weird thing that I wouldn't eat today.
yeah,
They used to give me. You ever hear spam?
yeah. I've
This
heard of spam.
can of
I,
spam, and
yeah,
it was just I wouldn't eat that. That's a weird thing I wouldn't eat.
yeah. I think I saw that on the Fairly Odd Parents, whatever, like a small kids show.
Yeah,
Spam,
yeah,
but it's just a fictitious or like a just like this fantasy thing. I've never seen it in real life.
yeah, yeah.
Did you cry the first time you had like did they put it on the table and you just I mean if it smelled worse than a skunk I would assume you'd had a tremendous reaction.
I don't remember. I just remember it was as soon as she made it, I knew I wasn't eating that. And
Yeah,
I made it clear to them, however old I was young. I said, I'm not eating that.
yeah, get that out of my face.
Yeah, there's no way. And Christmas Eve, the Italian tradition is the seven fishes they call it, and they have all kind of fish. I'm not a big seafood guy. Some seafood I like, but I wouldn't like all that seafood. So my grandmother would make me some spaghetti with red sauce. I would have that instead of everybody else would eat the fish on Christmas Eve, but I would eat the spaghetti with sauce.
Oh wow, so you don't like fish?
Well, I like certain kind of fish, but the one they made on Christmas Eve was a lot of weird fish.
Yeah,
Italians they make I didn't like it, but the Italians love it. Christmas
yeah,
Eve is a tradition to have all this fish. There was some I liked, but a lot of it I didn't like,
yeah,
especially when I was younger. Some I would eat now maybe, but when I was younger,
yeah,
I didn't like fish.
yeah. It's a weird. I didn't like it either, and I was a meat eater for a while, so I can weigh in on this. I The fish texture was weird to me. It's like I'm eating a slippery slime meat.
Yeah, yeah,
It was like slipping in my mouth. I couldn't do the texture is what turned me off.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and speaking of that, we'll roll into it. So, what are we willing to eat? What weird foods are we willing to eat? Number one, I had octopus.
I think when I was stationed in the Navy in New York, Brooklyn Navy Yards, I remember we were in a place, we had some stuff, and I took a bite, and then my friend told me it was octopus. I did try that once, and that was it.
Didn't taste good.
Nah, now once I knew what it was, I was like freaked out. Nah, I want to eat octopus.
Yeah, you're like, am I gonna grow tentacles?
Yeah, I'm not into that.
Yeah.
I'm not into it.
Yeah, I wouldn't unless I got paid a certain stipend for it.
Yeah,
So I agree with you there. Number two is snake.
nah, not eating snake.
Yeah. I'd try it, I think, you know.
Yeah, my son, he's traveled a lot, and he was in Vietnam and different. He would send pictures of what the things he ate. I don't know the names of them. Some of the things he ate, like I wouldn't eat in a million years.
Yeah.
Some weird things. Like
Yeah.
different countries, they eat really
Yeah.
different than we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Stuff you wouldn't want to recite. It was that weird.
Yeah, I don't remember the names. I remember sending me pictures, and I said, "You're going to eat that?"
Yeah.
It was like unbelievable to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably like a traumatizing thing for you to hear, so you've suppressed the memory.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think he's crazy. He'll eat anything, my son. He'll eat anything. I'm not like that.
Yeah. I get it. I get the curiosity. Like I wouldn't either. I agree with you, but I get it.
Yeah,
Grasshopper.
not for me.
Nope.
I think I had a chocolate covered grasshopper when I was young.
No way. Get out of here.
They had chocolate covered grasshoppers. I'm pretty sure, and I think I had tried one of them somewhere along the way. And that was it. I wouldn't do them anymore.
Oh, chocolate covered grasshopper. It's almost, I think with foods like that, sometimes you're like, chocolate tastes so good that if you have enough of it on a chocolate covered grasshopper, that thing's going to taste good. But if you had a chocolate covered grasshopper and that tasted bad, that grasshopper must have tasted really, really bad.
I know, right?
You know what I mean?
Remember, I know I did it once, and then that was it for that.
Yeah.
If I don't like something, I don't go back. I don't try it again.
Yeah. So you don't mess with chocolate grasshoppers.
Nah.
I had a grasshopper bar like growing up, and even that, it was like meshed into a bar, and I hate, like, that was weird. It tasted really weird, and I never.
Yeah.
It's something about eating an insect is just like very repulsive, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Like having a raw cockroach, like that doesn't sound like fun, you know.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry for that imagery. Cat.
Cat?
Yeah.
Oh no, I can eat a cat. I don't think so. That's not gonna happen. I'm not eating cats. I'm not eating dogs. I'm not eating any of that stuff.
Yeah, that one's.
Countries do, I guess.
I think in China they eat cat. Yeah.
Yeah, not for me.
It's hard to wrap my head around eating a pet, like something you have in the house. That's also kind of repulsive, you know.
Oh yeah.
I just from your responses on the first four, these last two are gonna be they're more intense. So I got tuna eyeballs.
Nah. I don't think so. Even if they're in chocolate, I'm not having them. No way.
Oh man, I didn't know your tolerance coming in, so I made them like more and more intense as they go down. I can't. You can't having an eyeball. Come on. You can't eat an eyeball. That's just, even if you like the taste, that's just not right.
That's not right. No way. No way. That's crazy.
I can't believe people do that. And then this one's gonna be a little intense, but people do eat it. I researched for lean protein. Bull penis.
A bull penis. Well, I got some old ex-girlfriends. I like to see if they would eat that, but not me. maybe I can pick up a few for them, but I'm all set. I'm all set on a bull penis. I don't think so. Even covered in spaghetti sauce, not gonna do it for me. People actually eat that?
Yeah, it's one of the things I googled. I was like the strangest things that people eat, and it's considered a lean protein. I think it's in Asian cultures. I forget, like I didn't get the exact culture, but I'll research it and I'll text you an article.
Yeah, do that in case I decide to have it.
I'm sure you want to learn more about consuming bull penis.
I don't think so. I know a few people I like to get one for, but no.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Man, I was laughing in advance because you were already saying no to octopus, and then I was like, that was number one, and number six was bull penis. I'm like, John's in for it on this one.
I'm in for it. No way. No way.
Yeah, okay, I'll make just a part of that game. I just eyeballs and penis. You can't eat those. Those are just not.
Nah.
You eat whatever you want outside of that, but those no,
No.
100% no.
Not gonna happen. That's crazy, man.
It's sacrilegious. But yeah, that's all I kind of wanted to talk about. I hope everyone listening, you learned a little bit. If you have anxiety around food, even especially right now in the pandemic, it's around. We all have it. Indulge at least a little bit. And just have a good time. Stay away from eyeballs. Stay away from bull penis. Don't eat those. But yeah, just stay safe and stay healthy. Before we end this, John, would you like to do any plugs?
I have nothing to plug because of the pandemic. I have no shows, nothing to plug. I did go out to New York like 3 or 4 times. I had fun out there. I did Dangerfields and Gotham Live and Greenwich Village Comedy Club. I had a lot of fun out there. I got a few friends out there.
Yeah, including me.
Out
I'm
there.
a buddy.
Now you're out there now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have no shows to plug because there's nothing to plug. We're in a pandemic, so.
Yeah, but still follow the Comedy Factory on.
Yeah, if they want to see some, I got some videos of me on John Perrotta's Comedy Factory page. You can go on there, and there's some newer videos from January, February. And they can go on my website, comedyfactoryri.com, which also has some older videos. And but that's for shows. There's no shows to plug right now. Hopefully there will be soon.
YouTube, right? You have a YouTube channel. I just saw that.
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Instagram Comedy Factory. So if whoever's listening, definitely follow all that. It's hilarious. You'll laugh. You'll feel better. And so
laughter is the best medicine, especially during these times.
Yeah. So definitely check out all of John's stuff. And that's it. Thank you so much for being on, John.
Hey, thanks. Thank you very much, buddy. I look forward to you coming back to Rhode Island. We'll have some fun.
Oh yeah, and we'll eat chicken tikka masala.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll try.
Yeah.